What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 live listings. Today, I thought I would just switch it up with a quick rapid-fire Q&A from emails and comments, Facebook messages, etc., text messages. I've had some of these comments. Some of these are over a month old. Text messages. Some of these are over a month old, so I apologize for how long it's taking. What's up, Chicago Crown Hustler? Okay, so I'm gonna get straight into it. Let me just open up my window, and I'm gonna go over some rapid fire questions I've received via email, Facebook, YouTube comments. Sorry, some of these are over a month old, but I just wanted to answer. I do get to everyone's questions. I will answer. So I'm just gonna get straight into it so I can give you guys some value, and then I gotta go do some sourcing. Cool. So the first thing is, I appreciate everyone. I love the stories. Keep them coming. It just takes me a little bit of time to get through them. So thank you for your patience. So the first question is from Amanda, who says, can you help give some ideas on how to improve your social interactions so you can get more bulk deals? So this is really important, and probably a lot of my questions come from how do you get a deal with a Goodwill manager? How do you order wholesale? And the short answer is, you build trust and you develop a relationship. That's the way that you do it. And the longer that you talk to somebody, the more rapport you have, the more likely they're gonna be able to hook you up. So as an example, yesterday I had Kevin Humphreys on my show. Kevin was a great guest. He's been doing the same thing for 4 years. He's been going to the same stores for 4 years. So over time, he said there's not a single person that works there that doesn't know him on a first name basis. So think about how awesome that is. Every deal, every trick, every tip from the store is going to be known to him because he knows everybody. So the short answer to getting the relationships is just time. Put the work in to meet them, to get to know them. Each time you give them a piece of value, they'll give you a piece of value. People like to reciprocate. Smile often, be friendly, and talk about their favorite subjects, which is themselves. People love to talk about themselves more than any other topic. They love their ego. So make sure when you're talking to people, make it about them the most, and they'll definitely like you and help you the most. Because, you know, if you spend your first date with a girl listening to her and getting to know her, she's going to think you're really interesting, even though you may have not said anything. But no one wants to hang out with somebody who all they do is talk about themselves. So you guys feel free to put questions in the chat. I'll get to it at the very end. I just want to get through all these ones that I have written out already. Okay. People like people that are like them. So if I'm going to a garage sale, like, I'm not going to wear a suit and tie. I'm just going to dress like a weekender. If I'm going to go to a thrift store, I'm going to dress like a regular person. You always want to fit in. If you are out of place, people are going to be less likely to help you. Another really good tip for that is to exchange items of unequal value, meaning what can you do for them that's really valuable, that's not that, or that's way more valuable to them than it is to you, so you can get what you want. And what you're looking for when you're dealing with people on the road is probably a good deal. You're looking for a good deal on good products or a quantity of products. So you're gonna have to provide something to them for them to hook you up with some kind of a deal. And so you guys know there's methods like bundling. There's methods like, you know, going when they have too much stock, you know, whatever you can do to help them. It could even be sweeping the floors. Who knows what they actually need, but put the time in to find out what those store managers need. They don't need you to move the good product. That's not something of value. If you go in there and say, I'll sell all your good stuff if you sell it to me for cheap, that's not a good value proposition. Okay. Amanda asks, how do you deal with washing pre-owned clothing, especially high-end fabrics? It really cuts into your hourly when you sort and bulk wash. And there's a huge risk of possibly transmitting bed bugs or microparasites. That's a good question. A lot of people ask me if I wash my clothes or not. Under $30, I usually do not. Over $30, I usually do. But I'll still spot clean if there's a stain or something. But I mean, you get what you pay for. I'm moving towards new with tags because the cost of washing and sort and spot checking and looking for defects is so costly that it's worth it for me to have a lower margin on new with tags clothing. So the short answer is I'm going to move away from used clothing because of the extra time that it takes, plus your returns, because of defects are higher. I wouldn't say returns overall is higher, but over the fact that you didn't disclose this tear, or it smells funny, or I'm allergic to smoke, even though it doesn't smell like smoke, maybe it was in a room of smoke. There's stuff that comes up with used clothing. And I do know sellers that wash every single piece of clothing. So it's up to you, however you want to do it. I don't think there's that big of a risk for bed bugs, but it's definitely not zero. There's still an opportunity for bed bugs. Most people donate clothing when it's too small. From my experience, at least in California, the clothing that I get, a lot of it's freshly laundered, smells nice. So it doesn't have that thrift store smell. Now, if you're selling vintage pieces or stuff that's old, it's going to smell like that pretty much no matter what. If it's been sitting in somebody's closet for a long time, it's going to smell bad. So for me, under $30, I usually don't touch it. And as you guys know, I'm looking for a $30 average sale price. So eventually it probably won't have any used items in my store. Yep. So the next question from Amanda also is, how important is branding? I think branding is basically not important at all. For most sellers, I know sellers that crush it with a name like QX17. Meaningless, doesn't mean anything. It was just the one assigned to them by eBay. Doesn't really matter. The items in your store and the keywords you use are way more important. Now, it's not to say that social media doesn't work. You can, like myself, I have a low-key husky store, matching Instagram, matching Facebook page. I'm having flyers made that go out to make the packages look nice. I'm having custom poly mailers made. That's all great, but it doesn't make as big of an impact on your store as good products. Like, as an example, if you're selling really, really high-end stuff, you don't even need to take that great of pictures. As long as you have it, they're willing to buy it, especially if it's new. You can avoid a lot of the things that you're trying to maximize when you're selling low dollar, low profit, low value items. You got to do everything. But no matter how much you dress up a pig, still looks like a pig sometimes. So source better items is more important than branding. I mean, most of the big sellers don't have any branding. They just have a very generic name, like Linda's Closet. Next question from Jason. I'm starting a YouTube channel and I'm afraid of the drama. What do I do? What do you recommend? I recommend you build your following by building other people up. There's other ways to build your channel, but I think you can build your channel by building other people up. Talk about what you learn from what you do. I think that's all you need to be authentic. Talk about what you did, what happened, was it good or bad? Would you do it again? What did you learn? What did you not learn? And just move from there. I think if you share your experience, it's good enough to get a solid growth. I don't think you need to do more than just share your journey with people. I picked 10K items because it's the max anchor store. If you have some sort of journey to get to, people will follow you hopefully along the whole way and check in and see what's going on. Okay, next question. I followed your advice and bought one t-shirt and it didn't sell. What gives? So like this, I get this question all the time. People are like, I bought a shelf and it didn't improve my sales. I bought some shoes and it didn't sell right away. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, like, just because one watermelon is bad, don't stop eating fruit. That's the thing I just came up with because it comes to mind like you're ruling out an entire category because one thing didn't sell well, or your sample size is so small. Don't make any assumptions. Like some of the best sellers I know are always saying, I'm learning something new every day. Like I thought, you know, these shirts sell, but it's not just these shirts. It's these shirts in this style, in this size, and it's also this button pattern and this color. They're constantly learning. They never ruled out anything. They never say, I'm never gonna sell shoes. I'm never gonna sell pants. Like, I don't think that attitude really gets you anywhere as a reseller. You can just focus on one category, but if you're gonna focus on one category, don't immediately give up when something doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to be easy. If you just hire your first employee and they suck, don't give up. If you just bought your first pallet and half of it was broken, don't give up. Like, what's the point of giving up? Do you want to be a reseller or not? Just like get into it, improve, learn from it. If you share your journey, other people will pop in and tell you what to do, good or bad. Go in there, definitely do it. Okay, next question. I was wondering if I use any software to track my sales and costs. Right now, I'm just using Google Docs. I'm going to start entering in the cost of goods sold in the custom SKU and the location. So location, cost of goods sold in the custom SKU. I'm going to use Excel or Google Docs to split that column into 2 columns, and then I'll be able to track pretty much everything I want to track, except for start date of the listing, which is a little bit fuzzy for me. because I'm starting to use good till canceled on some of my listings. So the start date's a little bit fuzzy. It's not the initial start date. That's hard for me to track on eBay. So if you guys know an easy way to look at when the item originally started, that would be fantastic, because I don't want to look at an item that I think has only been in stock for 30 days when it's really been in stock for 90 days. Okay. Help, I bought too much, what do I do? Okay, this is a problem I think is easily solvable as long as you list more than you buy every day. Eventually your death pile will go away if you list more than you buy. So if you buy 10 items and you list 20, your death pile is going to go down by 3,650 items in the course of a year. If you just list 10 items more than you source. So you don't have to give up shopping. I think most people, not most people, some people are hoarders and they do not sell anything, right? So if you have a generic rule of always listing more than you buy, you will always have a decreasing death pile. So make sure the trend, that's the trend. Don't have the trend that you're always buying more than you list. That's the opposite trend that you're looking for. You'll probably not survive as a reseller because you'll run out of money eventually. I think a lot of people who are not reliant on their eBay income get stuck in this, because like maybe your husband or your wife makes enough money for you guys to survive, and you're just working with a fixed amount of money, and you just keep buying, and you never list any of it because you don't need that money. Versus the sellers who rely on eBay as their only income, they have very, very small death piles because they need to churn that inventory to make their money. Okay. Mike asks, do I honestly believe eBay is a sustainable long-term business? A lot of the experts on YouTube just don't have the sales when you look at their stores. I agree. Like if you look at a lot of the YouTubers, I don't have only one income, so I can totally mess around with eBay and it's fine. It's gravy for me, right? So I'm not reliant on my eBay income, although I do think it is a sustainable long-term business as long as you put the work in to get the supply. The listing, the shipping, the processing, the photo adjusting, that part you can always do. The learning and sourcing part of it is always changing. It's always going to change. The market's always going to adjust. You're always going to have to be on the lookout to source great product. If you have that, then you have a sustainable long-term business. That's why one of my other most common questions is, where do I start wholesaling? Which is a totally different topic and needs to be its own chapter because it's so in-depth. Last question, and I'll get to you guys in the chat, which is, do I know much about bulk purchasing? More specifically, are the prices negotiable? Yeah, they are. Prices are always negotiable. Like when Luke was working at that deal with the jeans, he was able to get a lower cost. I've never actually seen a deal that's not negotiable at all, especially for a bulk lot. I mean, worst case scenario, you're getting them to add stuff to the lot for the same price. Let's say they won't budge on $5,000 for the pallet. Well, you can say, how about I get a discount on the next one, or I get all this other stuff to try for free, or some samples. You can always improve the deal. I recommend you always ask, do you have anything else? If you're at a garage sale or you're negotiating, or can you do any better? What's fair? These are questions that you want to ask to initiate the conversation to get the bulk purchasing deals better and better. Okay, I'm gonna get to the questions in the chat. There's a lot. So, am I cold? No. It's like 80 degrees here, which is freezing for California. What's the news on the Apple shoes? Still have them. I'm not going to accept less than 10,000. So right now I'm just using them as a signpost to drive traffic to my YouTube channel, which seems to be working just fine. What's up, the sky? Let's see. Can I touch on my affiliate links? So if you want to do affiliate links, sign up for eBay Partner Network and Amazon Associates. Those are the two programs that I use, eBay Partner Network, Amazon Affiliates. All my links are affiliate links. I should probably put that in the description so that I'm FCC compliant. I did have it, but I just changed to a new format. But yeah, basically you guys don't pay anymore when you click and buy something through my links. But on the back end, for example, on eBay or Amazon fees, so we all pay fees when we sell something on eBay. Part of those fees would go to the affiliate. That's how affiliate links work in a nutshell. If you need some help with that, you can just email me and I'll send you back the ideas. But it's basically eBay Partner Network and Amazon Associates. Do I think more detailed description and more photos will bring a higher price? It depends on the item. For like, if you're selling iPhones, more detailed pictures doesn't matter. They already know what it is, unless it's a damaged, broken iPhone, then you want to take as many pictures as you can. I don't think that I think even a stock photo would get the full price if you accurately describe the condition. I have a customer sold brand new headphones too. They want to return them, stay, and they just play static. You might have somebody switching your new pair with their old pair. That's definitely a thing you need to watch out for. Make sure that you tag the serial number in a way that you can make sure that it's the same item being returned to you. If you sell items with barcodes that are brand new, please make sure you have some kind of process to make sure people are not stealing from you. Where do you buy bulk clothing? You can get it on the internet, you can get it at Goodwill, you can get it at Marshall's, you can get it any retail or wholesale distributor, you can get bulk clothing. Can you put more than 1 decimal point in custom field so that another column for date list? Yeah, you can add as many columns as you want. That's a good point, actually. And John, I am going to use that. I don't like the way eBay sets up the start date, so I'm going to add that in there, especially since it's static. So thank you, John, for that tip. I'm actually going to write that down. See, if you don't know what you're doing and you just put it out there, somebody will just tell you. So pro tip, share your ideas with others. I'm going to add the date to my custom SKU field. Thank you very much, John, for that tip. And then you can separate as many columns as you want using the same identifier. So for me, my item location might be A10.5 is what I paid for it, $5.7/12. So that means I bought it on July 12th. Let's see. What would I say is the fastest selling pre-owned clothing item to build up capital ASAP? It depends on your area. The fastest pre-owned clothing to sell to build up your capital fast would be vintage clothing. Vintage or hype beast clothing sells the fastest for the most profit. Like you're going to buy an item for 50 and sell it for 800. Like that only happens with really hyped or vintage or rare pieces. That may not be the fastest if you're not in those types of areas. You'd want to sell a higher quantity of medium tier brands that you can look on Instagram, or there's tons of people who do haul videos of what to buy. I would search solds and I would search items that you actually like. I wouldn't sell items you don't like because you're going to lose interest before you put in the work in to figure out what sells. So there is no short answer to that, Hayes. How much does a couple pallets cost in shipping costs? It depends on how far. We're talking about between 200 and 1,500, depending on weight and distance. Or can you buy clothing in bulk at wholesale prices? Online. Let's see. Use automatic air freshener. I don't use air freshener because some people can be allergic to it. Let's see. How do I set up sales in your store every day, every other day? You can't do. You cannot do a recurring sale, unfortunately. Or if somebody knows how to do that, please let me know how you can set up a recurring sale. I do a 50% markup because consumer behavior shows that any sale under 20% doesn't change a buyer's behavior. If you see 5% off, 10% off, 15, 20%, doesn't actually change your behavior. It's not a significant enough discount. That's why I use 50%. And on a used clothing item, or most of my items are used, the 50% discount is huge, even new. And I do think you get a slight boost in ranking. Like if I'm $39.99 discounted 50% over someone who's $40 with no discount, I'd like to believe that mine's going to show up higher. But if it doesn't show up higher, it's still going to have that cross through it showing it's on sale with the 50%. A little bit more eye-catching. I'm hoping I stand out a little bit more. Let's see. Interesting. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna hop off right now. I have some other stuff to do. So if you have any questions, email me at 10konthebay@gmail.com. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody like and subscribe. Have a good one.